Hey, sixth graders. Today we're going to continue talking about experimental probability. So, experimental probability is the probability of something happening when we actually perform an experiment. And that's different than the kind of probability that we get when we expect something, when we have a theory about something. That's called theoretical probability. Experimental probability is where we just do something. We do it over and we do it over and we do it over and we do it over. You guys did this yesterday when you looked at the spinner activity that I gave you. I have another spinner activity for you today that I want you to do. But before we do that, I'd like to kind of show you what I'm looking for or looking at. So what I've got is a spinner. I'm not going to show you the spinner yet because that would give away part of what we're doing. But I can tell you that I'm going to spin it a number of times. And each time I spin it, you're going to see that there are 6 colors possible in this on this spinner, but I've got them so that they are uneven. Some of them are bigger, some of them are smaller, some of them are really small, some of them are kind of medium, and we're going to see whether or not this experiment actually shows us what the spinner looks like. So what we can do is I can spin the spinner. So when I hit this button up here, it's going to spin the spinner. And when I do, it's going to land on a color. And so in this case, it landed on red. So by doing that once, you might think, wow, red is gigantic. In fact, red is the only color on this spinner. But as I spin it, you'll see each time I spun it again, it landed on red again. So red clearly is the only color. Or red must, oh, this time it was yellow. Okay, so of the 3 times that it spun, 2 of them in red, 1 of them in yellow. So this must be what my spinner looks like. Let's do this a couple more times. Let's get to 10 spins and let's see. Oh, yellow and red are even. All right, keep going. Oh, there's blue. Interesting. Okay, I'm at 2, 4, 5. I'm halfway there. Continuing to go. Oh, yellow must actually be much bigger. Now, didn't I say there were 6 colors on here? Going. All right, I'm at 8, so 2 more spins. Oh, there's purple. And 1 more spin. Yellow. Well, I never got cyan, which is that light blue, and I never got lime, which is the light green. And this must be, after 10 spins, what my graph actually looks like. This is the experimental probability of my graph coming up. Do you think it's anything like the original? Should we look at it? Let's look. Well, here's my actual spinner. You're going to see that it in fact looks nothing like my experimental graph. In 10 spins, I got, well, I guess I got something like it. The purple area looks like it's about the same size. The blue area doesn't. If you were to look at this, you would say this is mostly red and yellow, which I guess it's kind of. So maybe it's not the worst thing. But what if I kept spinning? What if I kept spinning over and over and over and over and over and over? And oh, I finally got a green one. More yellow, more yellow. Do you think it's going to look more or less like the graph before it? All right, I'm at 10, 17. Let's see, 10, 17, 18, 19. One more spin. 20 spins. I guess it's looking a little bit more like my graph, but maybe if I just keep going, keep going, keep going. It will start to look more and more. So I'm going to do this 100 times. And let's see if that makes it. So I'm going to actually just skip to the end here in a second. I'm going to pause the video and go to 100. Hold on. Okay, 100 spins. Yikes. That was a lot of spinning. But look at my graph. It actually looks a little bit closer to what it should we expect it to look like. The red's a little bit bigger than it should be. I think the blue's a little bit smaller than it should be, but kind of close. And if we click on this button down here, you'll actually see the percentages. So here are the percentages. Here's the experimental probability. This is what I actually got. And this is the theoretical probability. This is the probability what I should have gotten. Yellow and red are the same size, so I should have gotten them about 28% of the time. Blue, cyan, was 5% of the time to be expected. And look at that, it came up 5% of the time. Lime was a little bit bigger, but pretty close. Same with purple. The one that was really off was red. Red was at 35% to 28%. And you can see that when you look at this, because this red section is much bigger than it should be. But yellow actually came up pretty close to where it's supposed to be. So the further we go, the more spins we get. Does that make a difference? I don't know. That's your job to figure out. So today what I want you to do is I want you to go to, I'm going to give you the link to this website. I want you to make your own spinner, spin it. Spin it 10 times, spin it 100 times. If you've got the patience, spin it 1,000 times. See if you can do that. Keep spinning it and reflect on it. If you want to do this more than once, great. Do this a couple times. Personally, I find this fascinating and could spend hours doing it. I love this kind of stuff. So that's what I'm asking you to do today. And I will say, have fun, because this is a lot of fun.